What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Touchdown and Ties, the father-daughter sports podcast where she knows ball because he taught her. I'm your co-host, Brianna, the daughter of this duo.
What up, everybody? And I'm Keith, her dad, the other co-host.
In today's episode, we're going to be wrapping up Week 14 of the NFL. But before we do, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's jump right into probably the biggest thing everybody is talking about this week. Once again, surprise, surprise, is Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
This whole controversy, I feel like, is probably rightfully so because fifth round, yeah, okay, because Shedeur had an amazing game. He led an epic comeback with the Browns against the Tennessee Titans this week. And he had 364 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns, and they were down 17-31 with 6 minutes and 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And what do? You take him out the game on the 2-point conversion to tie it, and you lose.
Yeah. It was a very baffling decision by Kevin Stefanski. People have been questioning his commitment, if you will, to want to put Shedeur in the game.
Yeah.
And frankly, just to see him succeed. You trailed that game, like you said, 31-17 with about 4 minutes to go in the game, 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Shedeur lead the team down the field. He rushed in for a touchdown to cut the lead to what I thought was going to be 7, but then they decided to go for 2 in that situation, to which I didn't really quite understand why you went for 2 right there.
Right there, yeah.
Ultimately, I didn't have a problem with going for 2 at some point because like I mentioned a couple weeks ago with the Commanders, when they did it against the Broncos, the season is over. So why are you going to play for a tie? So I didn't necessarily have an issue with them going for 2 at that particular moment. I figured, if they scored again, go for 2 to try to win the game right in that situation. But that's not how it played out. But Shedeur did lead the team down the field.
Yeah.
Once again, he threw the touchdown pass, brought them to within that 2-point conversion. And certainly, you're thinking you're going to lead a guy in the game.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you try a trick play.
Yeah.
That didn't work. I mean, obviously, or apparently, the running back who took the snap in the wildcat position is what they call it.
Yeah.
He didn't know that he was supposed to hand the ball off to the receiver that was coming around the other end and do some type of, reverse.
Yeah.
And the play just totally did not work. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's getting hard to defend Stefanski when it comes to Shedeur. It's like he doesn't want to see the kid succeed, which is weird.
Right.
Because if Shedeur succeed, you succeed.
Right.
It's like
the whole team succeeds. The organization succeeds.
Yeah. And then that's the other part about it too. It's the coach's job to put the team in the best position to win a game. And by taking Shedeur Sanders out the game at that point, I don't think Stefanski did that.
Yeah.
So if I was on that team right now, I mean, granted, like I say, you're 3-10, your season is over, but you're trying to build something for the future.
Yeah.
But if I was on that team and I saw that happen, I would have a problem with this. It's like, what are we doing?
100%. Yeah.
Because
it doesn't show that you have faith in your quarterback. It doesn't show that you have faith in your standout, your top guys. You just dismiss everything that you just done. It kind of just makes it pointless. Clearly he's proven himself at least a little bit. I don't believe that they're losing games because of Shedeur. I believe they're losing games because of the Browns and coaching staff and things like that. But I don't know. We'll see. But all that controversy aside, I mean, Shedeur had an amazing game. So.
He did. And just the fact that you have a 3-10 football team being talked about, not just on podcasts like ours, but on the national media as well. They're talking about the Cleveland Browns. That should say something to the organization. Like, this guy has brought some type of spark to what has otherwise been like a dreadful organization for decades now. So you would think that they would look at that and go like, okay, it's not like the kid's a scrub.
Right.
Let's get this guy in the game and see what he can do for us. Put all that other stuff aside about his confidence and being cocky and all of that. Just put that aside if that's what it is that you have a problem with. Put all that stuff to the side, man, and let's go. I mean, it's not being cocky. He's not bragging if he can back it up.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Said that. I've always said that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all professional athletes and just any athlete, period, has an ego. They have an ego. Right? That's what's made them successful to a certain extent. I mean, everybody has an ego, not just professional athletes.
Not just,
I mean, everybody has
regular
an ego.
People have egos, Yeah,
regular people have egos. So if you have a problem with this kid's confidence, then that's something that's more on you
it's personal
than it is on him. I mean, because once he gets on the field, and you can see if they just give him the appropriate support, he can be successful. He
100%.
certainly can be
100%.
successful. So we'll see going forward. They have
Right.
4 games. I mean, he did have a good game, but,
Mhm.
ultimately the goal is to win. So he's gonna have to start winning some of these games and not just playing well. He's gonna
Playing
have to lead
well.
the
Yeah,
team to
to
victory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another team that I feel like if I was associated with this team as a player, fan, coach, anything, I would want no parts, and that is the Bengals. The Bengals have managed to blow basically every single game. You're up 28-18 in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter with 8 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Mind you, that is a lot of time for anybody, for
Yeah.
any team. But you had Joe Burrow who threw those back-to-back interceptions, one of which gave the Bills 7 points to extend their lead because
Mhm.
it was intercepted for a 63-yard touchdown.
Yeah, the guy
And
made a great play on that
he
one.
made a great play, but
Yeah.
that's what the 3rd game this season that the Bengals have scored 30 or more
Mhm.
points and lost the game. It's also the 3rd game this season where they have completely squandered their lead in the 4th quarter.
Mhm.
They did it against the Bills, they did it against the Jets, and they did it against the Bears. So
Yeah.
that's 3 potential wins that they could have had to been 7-6 instead of 4-9.
Yeah. And they bought Burrow came back, and I was saying at the time that they had an opportunity because
Oh
nobody was
yeah,
running away with the AFC North,
right.
and nobody is still running away with the AFC North,
Mm-mm.
but the Bengals are out of it. I
Yeah,
know they
they're
have
too
4
far behind now.
yeah, they have 4 games left. I mean, they've managed now to drop 5 out of their last 6 games,
Yeah.
with or without Joe Burrow playing. I mean, they were playing so well against Buffalo the other day in the
Yeah.
snow.
In the snow, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
they
mind
they
you, it's
looked really
freaking
good. Yeah.
blizzard.
Yeah, and then the guy he made a great play. I mean,
Yeah,
Burrow just dumped the ball off to Jamar Chase in the flat right there, and the guy jumped up and just made an incredible athletic play and
yeah,
scored a touchdown, and then they come right back. You're thinking like, "Okay, you still got an opportunity to win." You hadn't really had any trouble moving the ball all game. Come back down the field and, think
score
probably could
again.
score, but then, like, I think maybe first or second play, he throws
Yeah,
another
the Bills score again, yeah. Oh, yeah,
yeah, and
sorry, yeah, he threw back-to-back interceptions, sorry,
they threw
yeah.
back-to-back interceptions, so now
Mhm.
that's game at that
Yeah,
point. Even though Cincinnati did come back and score another touchdown after that. The guy just made on that interception, he just made an incredible play,
yeah,
and, Burrow wasn't able to chase him down, and the guy scored a touchdown.
yeah, the pass intended for Chase, wasn't able to chase him down, and then that was the end of it. And
Yeah,
I feel like every game you gotta talk about Josh Allen, he was huge in that game as well. He had a touchdown. They were able to come back, like you said, the Bengals were playing very, very well in conditions that would be favorable to the Bills. 'Cause, I mean, yes, it snows in Cincinnati, but it don't snow in Cincinnati, but it snows in Buffalo. So that was
yeah.
definitely an advantage for the Bills. So but again, here we are. The Bengals have squandered a lead that they had, and now their season is pretty much over with, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, it's over with. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no hope really for them. They have 4 games left. Only a couple games. I think they're 3 games now behind Pittsburgh, but
yeah,
they're not gonna be able to overcome that.
yeah,
At least
yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, anything is possible. The Steelers could lose their last 4 games. The Bengals could win their last 4 games. I mean, who knows? But you just look at the way that they're playing right now. You just don't see them being able to overcome this deficit to the Steelers and get back and win the AFC North. It's
Yeah,
disappointing because they've been in a lot of games.
yeah,
Um, they brought Burrow back, off of that 9-week injury that he had because they
yeah,
had, an outside chance of winning the division. But I just don't see it happening for him.
yeah. Well, speaking of the Steelers, what did you think during that game that they had with the Ravens of that touchdown that was not ruled a touchdown right towards the end of the game with the Ravens? Did you think that was a touchdown when that guy caught it, or did he not maintain possession? What are your thoughts? You're usually really good at seeing that stuff.
You talk about the pass to Likely.
Mhm.
I thought he caught it.
I thought he caught that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he caught it. I thought it was a bad call by the refs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably hunting a lot of Ravens fans even since Sunday. And now the Steelers are the head of that division, and the Ravens are what, second in that division?
they are.
Yeah, so they're only 1 game behind, so those 2 are still really neck and neck, anything can happen, but
Right,
the Steelers do have the head-to-head, so I know we talk about the tiebreak rules and everything all the time, so I
right.
don't know what that would mean for them at the end of the season, but the Steelers do have the lead right now in that division.
Well, they play each other the last week of the season as well. The Ravens have a tough schedule left, though. They have to play the Patriots. They play the Bengals coming up this Sunday, which would be a
Okay.
tough game.
Yeah.
Then they play the Patriots, they play the Packers, and then they finish with the Steelers.
Oh,
So,
wow, that is a very tough final
yeah,
stretch. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
as if we just talked about the Bengals and how they
Mhm,
squander everything. If they can just find a way
mhm.
to finish games, the Bengals are a a good team. They just don't close things out. It's not
Right.
like they're gonna play against them and just be blowing them out the whole time. They're gonna put points on the board. It's just that are they gonna be
Right.
able to finish the game? That is a
Right.
tough schedule.
That's tough, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's looking good for the Steelers. I know the Steelers, they play the Lions here coming up here in a couple
Yeah, a
weeks, but
couple
before
weeks.
that, they have the Dolphins
Eh,
this Sunday, and the Dolphins have quietly been playing
yeah,
well. I think they've
playing
won
well
5
since
out
the
of their
beginning of the
last 6
season.
games, and then they have a game against Cleveland, which is always tough, and then they
Right.
begin the season against the Ravens.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting coming down the stretch here. That battle in the AFC North is probably gonna go down
Yeah.
all the way to the last week of the season. But something that's just not right with the Ravens this year. Lamar Jackson doesn't look as dynamic as he's looked,
Mhm.
obviously, throughout his career. Maybe it's because he's been nicked up all season or whatever, but
Right.
he doesn't look like the same explosive player that he's been since he came into the league. And again, that could just be because he's playing with injuries. I don't know. But just
Right.
something that's not right with the Ravens this year.
Yeah, definitely something is off. Like you said, especially in the beginning of the season,
Mm,
the Ravens were a favorite to go to the Super Bowl, the Bills, and then the Chiefs, who
mhm.
are 16% chance to go
Yeah, the
to
Chiefs
make it to the
in the playoffs this
playoffs.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah, they're not
making
gonna
it.
make it.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
first
only
time
will they not win the AFC West for the first time in, like, 10 years, they're not
10
even gonna make the
years.
playoffs this year.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
be surprised if they did.
which is crazy because that game that they had against the Texans on Sunday night, that first quarter, it looked like the Texans were just gonna kinda run away with it. That Texas
Mhm.
defense was playing extremely well. The offense was
Yeah.
putting up points. But then that second half defense from the Chiefs, I was like, "This is when we
Mhm.
start talking about complementary football because your defense is getting stops all day long."
Right.
The Texans offense couldn't get anything going
No.
against that Chiefs defense in the second half. So
Yeah.
now you just need your Travis Kelce, you need your Pat Mahomes and your Rasheed Rice and all those guys to make a freaking play because your defense is doing everything that they need to do. And one could say arguably the Texans, not because they didn't play well because they deserved the game, but Pat Mahomes had that several interceptions, but he had that one
3.
interception that
Mhm.
they were able to get points off of. And then you had the first turnover on downs in the fourth quarter that then the
Right.
Texans went to score because they were deep into Chiefs territory.
Right.
And that put them in position to at least put points. Because when they just started from the 25, 35, wherever they start after the punt,
Mhm.
they couldn't get down the field. But then when you give them the field position to at least be in field goal range, that helped them to put points on the board.
The Chiefs offense has been missing
Yeah.
something all season, if you will. I mean, Travis Kelce has dropped a lot of passes that he normally
Mhm.
would catch. They can't seem to get a run game going consistently. Wide receivers can't seem to get open consistently.
Yeah.
The Chiefs offense has just been a mess all season, and in that game, it came back to haunt them. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong now, the Texas defense is pretty good. They
Mm.
have one of the defenses in the league, but Kansas City's offense, the struggles that they've had all season was kinda like it was like a microcosm this
Yeah.
past game of what they have been dealing with all season,
Yeah.
and they're sitting right now at 6 and 7. They're, like, number
10,
10.
I think, in the AFC.
Well, there's only 7 teams can make it when they're
Mhm.
sitting at number 10 right now. They're 2 games behind, uh, actually 3 games behind because the Texans right now are the last team that's in at 8 and
Mhm.
5. They just beat Kansas
Mhm.
City, who's at 6 and 7. So
Yeah.
technically, they're like 3 games behind the last team that's in the playoff picture right now, and there are only 4 games left to go.
Right.
So it's gonna be tough for the Chiefs to even make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I mean, all good things come to an end, right?
No, I
You
mean,
know?
and that's the thing, they were making a big deal out of it for the Sunday night game. And it's funny because I was getting irritated because
Mhm.
as good as the Texans were playing, like I said, at least on defense, or when CJ Stroud did something, they couldn't
Mhm.
just give the Texans credit without comparing it to what the Chiefs are and are not doing and what Pat Mahomes is and is not doing. Let's just
Right.
give them the credit. And they just couldn't believe. They just kept going back to, oh, the Chiefs are not going to make it to the playoffs. They're not going to win the AFC West. I'm like,
Mhm.
we get it, but let's also focus on the team that's actually doing well. And I'm saying that as we're talking about the Chiefs who did really bad,
Yeah.
but the Texans did
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
That's always been my frustration with how announcers cover the Lions because it's never what the Lions are doing. It's always what the
Mhm.
other
The
team is
other
not
team is
doing.
not doing. Yeah.
And it's just like that. When
Yeah.
you team that's traditionally haven't won games or whatever, the other team has won games. The Chiefs have won Super Bowls for crying out loud.
Right.
People are gonna look at it from just the lens of the Kansas City Chiefs and not
Yeah.
from the lens of how well, in this case, the Texans were playing, how well their
Right.
defense were playing. Because it's like I always say, it's not like Pat Mahomes is deliberately throwing interceptions.
Right.
It's not like these guys are deliberately dropping passes and that sort of thing. The other team has something to do with that,
Mhm.
right? So why not give the other team credit? But
Right.
they always, especially Chris Collinsworth. I mean, he
That's
really,
I didn't wanna name drop, but that's he was and I usually like him, but he was getting on my nerves.
yeah, sometimes he go a little bit overboard with. I like
Yes.
Collinsworth. I know a lot of
I
people don't
do.
like him. I think
I
he's a
do
good
like him.
announcer.
Yeah.
But with certain players, with Pat Mahomes, Josh
Yeah.
Allen,
Josh Allen,
with
God.
guys like that, I
Tony
mean, he
Romo and Josh
just,
Allen, Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
they just won't stop talking about him. And it's just like,
Yeah.
really, dude?
Like, let's just focus on CJ Stroud did this, end it there. We don't have to
Right,
be CJ
right.
Stroud did this, because it
Yeah,
was one thing he was just like, "Well, CJ Stroud is making plays that Pat Mahomes will play." I said, "Oh my days, just say he did a good job and let's end it there."
right. You ain't got to compare him to anybody. Just say he made a great play.
He made a great
Yeah,
play, end the story, boom,
yeah.
next
They
play.
could be hard to
Yeah.
listen to sometimes for sure.
Yeah, I had to mute
You
it for a
know?
second. I don't know what they're gonna do without the Chiefs being in the playoffs because even though they're not gonna be there, you know for a
Yeah,
fact they're going to mention their absence the whole entire
yeah.
time.
The whole time.
That's gonna be
The
annoying.
whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I guarantee you the next big AFC matchup in the next Sunday night game, they're gonna be like, "Oh, last Sunday night we saw the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "That was 7 days ago."
Right. Let
Like,
it rest.
let it rest, let it ride, let it be done, it's dead.
Mhm.
But speaking of the AFC too, we were talking about Daniel Jones and the Colts who were starting the season 7-1. They're now what,
Yeah.
8-5, I believe. I don't remember their
Yeah.
exact record. They're 8th
They're
in the
8-5. They
AFC.
lost
Yeah.
4 of their last 5 games.
Yeah, they're 8th in the
Yeah.
AFC, 3rd in their division, and Daniel Jones now has torn his Achilles. He was already playing on a broken fibula. A broken bone is crazy,
Man, I
and now
feel
he's
bad for
out.
him. I feel
Yeah.
bad for him. I
Oh,
mean, he finally
100%.
is getting this opportunity. The
Yeah.
team is being successful, and then this happens to him. You can see his frustration too on the ground
Yeah.
when,
Yeah.
it happened and the trainers came out and he was just slamming his helmet up against the
Yeah.
ground. So he knew what was going on at that point. I just feel
Yeah.
bad for him.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about a Colts team that started 7-1, as you said. They're now sitting at 8-5. They're on the outside looking in of the playoffs right now. And you look at their schedule. I mean, they
Yeah.
play Seattle, they play San Francisco, they play Jacksonville, and they play Houston.
Those first 2 games you mentioned are gonna be tough,
It's
Seattle
possible they
and the
won't win another
49ers.
game. They may
Yeah,
not win another game. I mean,
yeah,
they may not win another game after starting 7-1. They're already on a 3-game losing streak. Like I said, they've lost 4 or
mhm,
5 overall, but
yeah,
they're on a 3-game losing streak. And with that schedule, Seattle, San
yeah,
Francisco, you're talking about 2 of the best teams in the NFC.
NFC,
I
yeah.
mean, the
Not just NFC
Jaguars
West, the
are
NFC, period.
right, just the
Yeah,
entire NFC, not just the
NFC,
NFC
NFC
West.
West,
Then you play Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is currently leading the division, and then you play the
mhm,
Texans, who are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. So
right,
with 4 games left to go after starting 7-1,
yeah,
it's possible. It's very possible that the Colts will not even make the playoffs.
yeah, and then you
Ouch.
have your backup who is week to week with a
Yeah.
strained knee ligament, and then you're
On
bringing
top of that.
in Philip
Yeah.
Rivers, who turned 44 on
Right.
Monday, and
That's
he hasn't
crazy.
played in the NFL since 2020. No disrespect to that
Yeah.
man, but, like,
Yeah. That's
it's
how bad it is.
it's on fire right now and at the
Yeah.
Colts. That's
And
ugh.
what makes it worse, you drafted Anthony Richardson like 3 or 4 years ago with the number 4
Mhm.
overall pick. You already had to bench him in favor of Daniel Jones, and then
Yeah.
throughout the course of the season, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Something gets hit in the eye or something like that in practice, wherever it happened, and he's on IR, so he's not available to you.
Debatable, right.
So, I mean, it's just
It's a dumpster fire.
yeah, it couldn't be any worse for the Colts right now after starting out as one of the surprise teams in the NFL
Right.
at 7-1. It just can't be any worse for them.
Let's pivot over to the NFC really quick before we wrap everything up. We are
Mhm.
not Packers fans, but we were rooting against the Bears. And their
Well,
loss what?
it just depends.
Yeah.
Going into this game, because the Bears and the Packers pretty much had the same record,
Yeah.
it was like 50-50 who you wanted to win.
Okay.
Now, the thing about that is whoever won the first game,
Mhm.
you have to root for them to also win the second game. So now that
Right.
the Packers won that first game,
They have to finish it out.
you have to root for them to beat the Bears again. So that's
Yes.
that's kind of what it is. Because I was like
Yeah.
sitting there, like, who do I want to win this game?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like hit me like, okay, I mean, both teams pretty much have the same record. So It
Well, I
doesn't
was
really
thinking
matter who wins this game because they play again in 2 weeks. You
Yeah.
gotta hope that they win it again.
Yeah, but I guess in my mind, I was thinking that even if the Packers lose, in a way, it doesn't really help the Lions because the Packers have the head-to-head against the Lions,
They do, correct,
right?
yes.
So I'm like, I
They
know you
do.
mentioned a couple episodes ago, it's like, say if the Lions end up with a better record than the Packers, which I don't think, not saying anything against the Lions, but the Packers are really good. But if
Mhm.
the Lions end up with a better record than the Packers, would the Lions be ahead of the Packers, or would the Packers be ahead of the Lions, even though they have the better record because they have the head-to-head?
If the Lions have a better record, they're gonna be ahead of the Packers,
Yeah,
be
okay,
regardless
okay.
regardless if the Packers beat them twice or not.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, they'll finish ahead of the Packers.
Okay,
So,
okay.
like right now in the NFC, like, the Bears are, like, right now the last team in the playoffs.
They went from
Yeah,
1 to
they're the
7 in a
last
week.
they went from 1 ain't that crazy? Yeah, they
That's
went from 1 I
crazy.
didn't even think about that, but you're right, they did. They went from number 1 to number 7 in 1 week. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. That's crazy, they did. And so the Lions are 1 game behind Chicago right
Yeah,
now.
Chicago, yeah.
So the Lions can afford to maybe lose 1 more game because it's gonna take 11 wins to get into the playoffs as a
Right.
wild card
Right.
in the NFC. So they can afford to maybe lose 1 more game, but at the same time now they gotta hope that the Bears lose another game or 2 before
Mhm,
they play them the
mhm.
last week of the season. So I think it's
Yeah.
gonna come down to that. I think it's gonna come down to the Lions and Bears week 18, Soldier Field, and the winner of that game will make the playoffs and the loser will not. That's
That's
what I didn't want it down to
crazy.
that because the Lions don't play well in cold weather.
Which is I mean, yeah, because
Yeah,
it's not crazy because, yeah, they're in Detroit, but they play in an indoor stadium, so they don't really have to deal
they
with
play
the
an indoor.
elements.
Yeah, they don't have to deal with the elements. So yeah, I didn't want it to come down to that, but it's looking like it's possible that it could. It all starts for the Lions this week against the Rams. They
Yeah,
have to find a way to beat the Rams. But again, I think they just need to go 3-1 down the stretch here. Have an opportunity, a legitimate opportunity
right.
to make the playoffs. The Bears still have the Lions on their schedule. They still have the
For
49ers schedule. They still have the Packers on their schedule. But before I move off the Bears, I have to give them credit
I said
because
they're playing very well.
and well, I mean, and I thought they won a lot of games last second block
Right,
field
field
goal,
goals,
touchdown.
last-second
Like, man, they getting lucky.
touchdowns.
Yeah, they were getting
Yeah,
lucky to win these games. But after they went in and beat Philadelphia
yep,
on Black Friday, and then even though they lost to the Packers on Sunday, it looked like the Packers were about to blow them out.
yeah,
They came back out in that second half and they made a game of it, tied it up
yeah.
and everything. So the Bears are a lot better than me and everybody else, I guess,
Was
that's
giving them
hoping that
credit for.
they are. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
a good team, man. So the Bears aren't going
yeah.
anywhere.
I mean, yeah, because like you said during that game, I mean, everything was pretty much going right for them, especially in that second half. And then
Yeah,
that interception that sealed the game for the Packers, maybe it was just bad luck, you could say, because they were making plays like that all game.
yeah,
It went wrong at the worst time because I thought
yeah.
they had it because
I
Caleb
thought they
Williams
did
had
too.
plenty of time. He was making crazy passes that I thought were going to
Yeah,
be incomplete to throw away, and they getting first downs. I'm like, what the heck?
yeah. Yeah, he's incredible when he scramble outside that pocket. I mean,
Yes.
he makes a lot of plays outside of the pocket, and
Yeah.
that's bad news for the defense when you contain
Yeah.
this guy because the corners can't cover those receivers for that long,
Yeah.
and he's able to keep those plays alive, and he keeps his head up, and he throws the ball downfield, and it's on target. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the Bears are here to stay, man. I really do. Caleb Williams has
Yeah.
gotten a lot better since obviously Ben
Yeah.
Johnson has been there. I know he struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season, but here the back half of the season,
Yeah,
Caleb
on
Williams has
fire.
been playing really well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good for them, man. Good for
Well, a
them.
team that did not play well last night, Imma go ahead and say it. I
Yeah.
never thought I'd say this. Jalen Hurts had a bad game.
Yeah. He had a horrible
Jalen
game.
Hurts had a bad game.
So he had 4 interceptions and
4
a fumble.
interceptions and the
Yeah.
fumble. I was like,
Yeah.
"Jesus
Yeah,
Christ."
it was hard to defend Jalen after that
It
game.
was
And even
bad.
during the game, I was watching this game like, man, what
I
is
was
he
like, "What is he
doing? I mean, on
doing?"
that one sequence, he turned the ball over twice. He had an
Twice.
interception and a fumble.
Right,
And
he intercepted it, got it
then
back, and then fumbled it. I was like,
then
"Jesus,
fumble.
Devontae
Yeah.
Christ." I was, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah.
I couldn't, because they got down the field in overtime, they tied the game, it was a long field goal, they got down the
Mhm.
field, and the corner made the play, and then the other guy just had to finish it, and that's exactly what happened, but
Yeah.
I was like, "Jesus Christ."
Yeah. And they were at the very least, they were in field goal range to
Yes, at
possibly,
least to
tie the
tie
game
it,
up.
yeah, at least end up with a
But then he threw
tie.
that pick. I was kind of surprised that they threw the ball in that situation there
Mhm.
because honestly, tie wouldn't have hurt the
Yeah,
Eagles in
yeah,
that situation. I mean, so I thought that they were going to be conservative, especially since Hurts was struggling the
Right.
whole game. I certainly didn't think that they would put the ball up in that area, that particular part of the game. I thought they would just hand the ball to Saquon.
Right.
And, maybe if you break one and score a touchdown, fine. But I thought
Yeah.
that they were going to be content with
Yeah.
possibly just kicking a field goal, tying the game up, and, the game would end in a tie.
Yeah.
And that would put them 2 full games ahead of the Cowboys
Right.
in the NFC East, instead of now they're still just a game and a
A
half.
game ahead. Yeah.
So believe it or not, the Cowboys are still, they
All of a
still have a
sudden,
chance.
even yeah, they still have a
They
chance at
still
least
have
to
a
get
chance.
their division in it,
And
get the
and that's
playoffs.
the only chance they have. They're not gonna make it as a wild card team, at least I don't
Right.
believe they will.
Yeah.
But they still have a realistic shot of
Mhm.
winning the
Mhm.
NFC East, which is crazy.
Right.
The Eagles have lost 3 straight games. They haven't won a
Yeah.
game since they
Since
beat
they
the
beat the
Lions on
Lions.
Sunday night. Yes, Sunday Night Football. They've been struggling ever since then,
Yeah,
so
but even
just a
before then,
bad
they weren't
game.
putting up a lot of points against their opponents, so it's kinda like a matter of time, but like you said, they're
Mhm.
still ahead of their division, who also with the Commanders, who are just struggling a lot this season. I mean, the injuries are crazy. You have Zach
Yeah.
Ertz that went down towards ACL and a nasty hit to his
That was a
knee.
nasty injury, yeah.
That was ugh, that was rough, and then you have Jaden Daniels, who re-injured his elbow,
Mhm.
which I will say, I don't know why he needed to play the rest of the season anyway. Your season is
Yeah,
over. Why is your quarterback like it's not like Marcus Mariota has just playing awful, and you just
right.
need Jaden Daniels back yesterday. Just don't know why he was in the game. That's all I have to say
I
on
don't know
that, but
why. I mean, when he initially got hurt, I don't know why he was in the game,
yeah,
and when he just got re-injured again, I don't know why
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 he was
why is he even playing?
like, y'all
Why is he even
3-9
playing? I
coming into
mean,
this game, y'all 3-10
yeah,
now. Apparently,
yeah,
he could still come back and play again. Why? Why
yeah,
is Jaden Daniels playing? I understand that it doesn't all depend on the coach. These athletes, they want to play. They want to be out there in the field. They want to help their team. But it gets to a point where we have to be like, dude, the season, unfortunately, is over. It's been over for a minute. Like, let's just get you healthy, get you strong, and get you ready for the next season. Like, it's over with. It's a wash.
yeah. You have to protect athletes from themselves sometime, and this is one of those situations where the coach just needs to step in and just be like, "Look, take his
Look,
helmet
yeah,
and take his cleats, do whatever you need to
do
do,
whatever you
but
gotta
just don't let
do.
him on the field." Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no reason that Jaden Daniels should be playing, just none
no,
whatsoever. Do not potentially ruin this guy's career by
right.
putting him on the field in a meaningless situation. Because basically right now for the Commanders, every game is like an exhibition game, really. I
You're 3
mean,
and 10.
granted, guys are playing for their jobs. I get all of that. They want to be on the team. If not with the Commanders this year, they want to be on somebody's team next year. So I get
Mhm.
all of that. But as far as like reaching your goals, you can't win your division. You're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to win the Super Bowl. So in that regard, it's the last 4 games are meaningless when you look at it like that. So I'm not saying that Mariota is expendable, because he's not.
He's not.
But Jaden Daniels is certainly your franchise quarterback. So I don't know why
Right.
you keep running him back out on the field
Mhm.
in this type of situation. If I was a fan of the Commanders, I would be highly upset. I
Very,
don't want
very
him to
upset.
play right now. I don't want him to
No,
play. I don't want
no.
him to play. Let's shut it down and get him
Mhm.
healthy, and let's just get ready for next season. That's what I
Right.
would want.
Yeah, we were 11-2 and, 12
Mhm.
and I don't know, whatever. That's a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
story.
And
We
we
are
were in the hunt,
3 and
to make a
10.
wild card. Yeah, you're 3-10. If we were in the hunt to make the playoffs, then of course you want them. You want all your best players on the field. But we're 3-10. We 3-10. And the thing that you fear happened.
Happened.
Yeah. I don't know how serious the injury is. I don't know if he just aggravated it or whatever the case may be. But the fact that he was on the field and the opportunity existed for him to hurt himself again. If I'm a fan, I'd be pretty upset right now.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd be pretty upset.
100%. Yeah. We'll see. Got a good week coming up here. Wrapped up week 14 Monday Night Football. We got Thursday Night Football, and then we got our Lions in
Mhm.
LA on Sunday. So that'll be a fun time.
That will be fun. The Lions got to get it. It should be a good game. Really
Yeah.
should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and wrap everything up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
All right, y'all. Stay here till we get back.